I'm LeBron James. I came to the Lakers and I promised you a championship. And I gave you a championship. I expect a supermax contract.
Most people don't have what it takes to build in crypto. The cycles are brutal. The noise, constant. The market humbles everybody. And yet, some wake up and keep going. That's the part I'm interested in. Not just the companies or the products, but the people crazy enough to believe it can work. My name is Jordan, and this is Conviction. This is my conversation with Luca Netz. I was watching an interview, and
I know what you're gonna
a few years ago,
Yeah.
you were still raising money,
Yeah.
right? Now you're here, 2026, like, it's Pudgy. Everyone knows Pudgy.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to know that, like, not only do you think I'm him, but I think a lot of people around might think the same?
Yeah. I don't know if I think I'm him. I think I want to still be him. I think once you think you're him, you kind of level out and you become complacent. So I'm definitely not thinking to myself, comparison's the thief of joy. And the unfortunate part is no matter what milestone I hit, I can always anchor off of a younger dude hitting a bigger milestone.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually been a little thing that I've been talking to my co-founders about. It's a little of a depressing loop. I definitely am proud of where we've gotten up until this point. The elephant in the room is this could have been a disaster. A lot of people are like, dude, you're an idiot for doing this. You had such a good thing going at Gel Blaster. Obviously, I was kind of really taking my career to the next level. Then I come and build this NFT project. And frankly, for 18 months, dude, we were still getting little broed across the board by pretty much everyone that was a major project. It wasn't until I think that paradigm shifted that okay, we started to actually compete and people started to realize what this was. I know in the eyes of some, I'm probably him, and I appreciate that and I respect that. I got a lot more to go, a lot more goals to reach before I think I'm when I'm him, I won't be working here anymore. You know what I mean?
You're not going to be in the office on a Thursday afternoon.
No, I won't be, unfortunately, so as long as it keeps the competitive edge going, knowing that I gotta go bigger and better.
Yeah. You spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, and I found out you went to Fairfax High School.
Yeah.
And we're about the same age. You're actually younger than me. That era you went there, in my eyes, is where the world of that young generation saw culture, and it was literally one street.
Yeah.
It was Fairfax.
Yeah. Where are you from, actually? Because
I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay.
I live in LA, so I'm pretty deep. Been there for a while.
Yeah. I feel like you know what you're talking about. Just by you saying that, it makes me know that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, man, I was like, this guy went to Fairfax doing Pudgy?
Yeah.
It kind of all clicks to me now.
Yeah.
It wasn't just some random bet during the NFT bull cycle. You saw this IP and you know what IP means, that has kids lined up all the way around the block. What did that being able to be there in that time period mean to you?
Dude, what a great question. I'm loving where this is going so far, so I appreciate it. Because you're tapping a nerve that frankly, I think is one of the most important nerves, which is you're totally right. We used to call Fairfax and Melrose, for locals who grew up around that time, it's called the block. You're very much right that specifically in that era, the block was the custodian of culture. There was everything that was happening that was hot in the world. Frank Ocean was on the block, Virgil Abloh was on the block, Tyler the Creator was on the block, all the hot stores, the streetwear was really pioneered on the block. Specifically in that era, in that couple year time frame, skateboarding, its peak was transpired off of what Fairfax and Melrose was. It's not anymore. It's actually pretty sad. But it was just the epitome and the epicenter of culture, at least in the West. What does it mean to me, and what is it what did that experience do, and how did that segue into this? At the end of the day, these businesses of IP and kid adult culture, dude, you have to have motion and aura, and you have to know what that means, to really transcend. And I think that's been our competitive edge for a while. I think we have a couple competitive edges. but it's like very clear to me that nobody else in the NFT space, I think actually Zagabond has a pretty good finger on the pulse in terms of like culture, but it's nothing like if you grew up there and like you really were and you saw it. Like, you know, my story was I was actually throwing underground rap shows in LA when I dropped out of Fairfax. So second Playboy Cardi concert ever with I go through, yeah, in Los Angeles when he had 80,000 followers and he was still running around with Ian Connor and the rest of the group. And he had the
Ian Connor.
yeah, he had the one song, it's in space, you know, that one. And it's like, it was kind of like a one hit wonder still. Suicide Boys' first ever show in LA was hosted by me. And not to say that like they're adjacent, like obviously like underground rap and like Pudgy Penguins are very like not adjacent, but like I know what's cool. Like I know what the girls will like. I know what the guys will like. And I think it gives us a really good finger on the pulse in terms of where the puck is going. And like, I feel like if you weren't in that nucleus, you're just at like a natural disadvantage. Just like a kid growing up on AI versus like a 30-year-old trying to learn it today. Like obviously that 30-year-old's going to do great, but like he's just not going to be what this kid who's doing it at 10 when he's 20. Like that kid when he's 20 is just going to outperform everybody just because like it's ingrained in like the metamorphosis process of the brain, right? Like the brain is growing around that. And it played such a huge part, even the relationships and like the product stuff, growing up in Los Angeles around that time, like everyone was starting a clothing brand, right? Everyone, so Santee Alley,
Oh yeah, making a million.
you know what I mean? You know, everyone had a finger on the pulse. So that like gave me some of my CPG background, gave us an edge there, but I'm glad you bring it up. It was, at the time, it didn't feel like it. It felt like normal life. In hindsight, dude, and seeing what the block looks like today, what a special time in history that was just for culture in general.
I mean, like I said, I grew up in the Bay Area, so I wasn't too far, but I wasn't there. But that was like everyone around me listened to Trash Wang or something.
Yeah.
And it was like right there. So I think that somebody needs to build the block again. Maybe it's digital.
Right.
Maybe it's
Digital block.
And maybe
I like that. I like the way you visualize that. That's inspiring, actually. I like that you said that. The digital block. I love that.
I mean, I saw Pudgy in a movie or a TV show, Apple TV.
That's how the Seth Rogen with Seth Rogen. And
You guys made that happen, or is that just...
no, I think it just happened. I didn't make it happen, at least. That's how you know you're building a company. When like dope shit happens and you have no visibility to that dope shit happening. Because before, like I would have to come up with the dope shit, or one of the four guys would have to come up with the dope shit, and then like we have to push it through.
Yeah.
Like speaks to where I think the org is coming, where like dope shit's happening and I have no visibility, and I'm like, I'm stoked. Like that's the point of building an enterprise. I need to be able to drop dead tomorrow and the business runs and still keeps going up and to the right. And the community and everything should still go and up and to the right. Like it should not be dependent on any one man. There should be no linchpin in an org. If you have a linchpin, you don't have enterprise value, right? Because the org is not actually flowing. It's like, I trust the organization and the 100+ people that work for us to go and do their job and to love and care this thing the way that they do. Every person in this company deserves to be rich, has comp packages that associate to that, right? Like go cook, fellas and women and ladies, go cook. Like, and they're cooking. I love it.
I got to see the picture while looking up the things you did, like Von Dutch.
Yeah.
I remember I bought a Von Dutch hat, and my mom was like, you know, like people knew Von Dutch, but maybe not the young kids yet. And you played a major role in get it. Like every TikToker had a Von Dutch.
Yeah.
That I feel like is like you brought something that was old,
Yeah.
brought it to life.
Yeah.
What was like? Tell us a little bit about how you did that.
The Von Dutch story was crazy. I remember we literally walked into the store one day, and it was actually, you're going to appreciate this story. Chrome Hearts was getting hot. This was like 2021, probably 2020. And Chrome Hearts was getting hot. And Peter, who's our chief creative officer, he was like, dude, like Von Dutch like is the next Chrome Hearts, right? Obviously Chrome Hearts is like since exploded way harder, but in LA you see things before it really happens. So he was like, Chrome Hearts is hot. He's like, let's go to Von Dutch. Started buying these Von Dutch hats. And I walk into the store one day, and the head of North America, a guy named Ed at the time, was there. And I'm like, Ed, like, you know, how's this business doing? You know, you guys must be crushing off the backs of Chrome Hearts. Like, this is the easy, like, B to Chrome Hearts is A. He's like, no, like, we're probably going to shut this store down pretty soon. Like, direct to consumer between this location and like our Shopify, we're doing less than 50 grand a month. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's crazy. So I ended up working out a gross revenue deal with them where I took 10% of gross revenue. And I said, anything above $100,000 in sales, I want 10% of. I'm like, so you got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? No engagement, no retainer. I was like, just let me double your revenue, and anything past that, I'll just take 10% of. And there's, Shopify got no sales. Like even the store, it was just dead across the board. I was like, but I need one thing from you, Ed. I need product, because like my whole plan is predicated on products. So the only thing that you're going to risk is like product, but at the time they weren't moving products. So they had a bunch of product left, like just sitting there. So I'd fill up my BMW and I just went everywhere. I went to the Phase House, the Hype House, Jake and Logan. I went to every single like TikTok influencer first. I just drove around for 2 days, just car full of stuff. And they loved it. Like they loved the stuff. And the quality of the product was so good that it was just like, oh, this is dope, whatever. They all started rocking it. And then I started hitting their followers with ads. And all of a sudden, like, dude, the thing goes from 0 to millions a month, like really quick. And then it goes even crazier. Then I start getting it to all the rappers. So I'm like Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, Drake, and then they're posting it. And then whenever they post it, I would run a campaign to Drake's followers or to Tory Lanez followers or Meg Thee Stallion's followers with the product that they wore. And if you're familiar with like Ads Manager on Facebook, like I was clocking like 30, 40 ROAS, which basically means like for every dollar I spent, I made $30 back. So it was like an infinite money machine. And what that told me was, prior to Von Dutch, I wasn't a product integrity guy. I was a marketer and a product mover. I never saw the value. I had like poor man syndrome. So poor man syndrome being like, I try to squeeze as much net profit out of each sale as possible. I wasn't focused on lifetime value or like customer retention. It didn't like cross my mind that mattered. And then when Von Dutch happened, it was my first time moving product that was like such high quality, that was so good. Like I really give them credit for that. The product is phenomenal over there. And so like when I saw like the marriage of, insane viral distribution and like, between these influencers and celebrities paired with like our ads manager and like what we were able to do there, paired with like good quality product with brand recognition and nostalgia, it was like all of a sudden this was a business that could have sold for a couple $1 million. I mean, dirt cheap. I mean, the IP was worth something, obviously, because of its nostalgic factor, but to like an enterprise that literally went from that to $100 million plus in 12 months, I was like, damn, if I own this thing, I would be set for life. This would have been it. This whole little sprint I just went on. And that was super eye-opening to me. And that's what kind of changed my trajectory from like internet hustler as like just a young kid. I grew up dirt poor. So I was just like, whatever was making money, drop shipping, trading, whatever it may be, to like entrepreneur of like, oh my God, like I actually have all the ingredients to go build like a 9-10 figure business. Like I should go do this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the aha moment for me. And if you kind of understand my story and you hear all the different elements and journeys up until this point, it's very serendipitous, because it's actually like pretty obvious that I got to Pudgy, and like Pudgy's like perfectly positioned for all of the different ventures that I did up until this point. Like in Von Dutch's case, it's brand. Prior to Von Dutch, I was monetizing social influence. Like the Penguins are influencers, right? They just don't talk back and they don't wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And then Gel Blaster was retail, right? So like retail, direct to consumer and brand, and then influencer monetization.
Yep.
Like those 3 pillars that made my career are actually like the 3 pillars that are necessary for a brand like Pudgy Penguins to succeed. Yeah, Von Dutch was super important for my career.
Wow. Hats
are crazy.
really nice hats.
Yeah, the best. That was the big elephant in the room, is they just had ads manager for Von Dutch and like influencers. Like you got to understand, when I walked into that organization, it's since sold to a group I really respect. That organization was being run by a bunch of real dinosaurs, and not like, oh, you're an old guy and you're a dinosaur. We're talking like you're an old guy and you got the brain of a dinosaur. Like you are stuck in 1980, right? And this is not that. They were old guys, dude, and they just had no clue what to do.
Why do they respect you to?
Because the deal was too good. They had nothing to lose. It wasn't anything other than the deal. The deal was you're doing 50 grand a month. I'm going to double it. And once I double it, I will take 10% off the top, right? That's a really good deal for a business that's about to die, right? Me doubling the revenue, right, for a couple $1,000s in product seeding, like saved their business. Like if they would just done 100,000 a month, he was stoked. He didn't think it was possible to do millions a month. Like clearly you would never done that deal because 10% on $5 million a month is $500,000 for me. You know, no one's doing that deal. And so it's actually funny because what happened was when the term was up, it was a 12-month term. I came to them and I sat them down and I said, I'm LeBron James. I came to the Lakers and I promised you a championship. And I gave you a championship. And what I expect now that our 12-month term is over is I expect a supermax contract, right? That's what you get when you say you're going to come to a city and you deliver a championship. Instead, I got a rookie contract. He wanted like, oh, it's not going to work for us. You're making too much money. I'm like, dude, I'm making, and then so and literally when I left a year later, they fell off.
Dude, I was gonna say you get to see the Von Dutch hat in a while.
Dude, they fell off. And then recently, a group, a kid by the name of John Levy picked it up. And now they're bringing it back and doing, the kid is like, you can tell the kid has the same mindset that I had. Just, you know, they're gonna go and do great things again. I'm upset I wasn't a part of that deal, but we didn't know each other, obviously. You know, penny wise, pound foolish, like a perfect example of like, you know, dudes are always pocket watching, worrying about other things. It's like, dude, at the end of the day, like the whole thing stunk before me and you pay the supermax. And I promise you, it would have been $1 billion exit for that company. They would have just absolutely smashed out of the park. But again, I was being liaison. Ed date kept me because he wanted to take all the credit. So I bet you the guy who owned Von Dutch at the time didn't even know I existed. I promise you he didn't, right? Because the head of North America, who was my POC, the guy I did the deal with, I know he was taking all the credit. He was rolling in the credit. He loved it. And then obviously they were paying these big bills to me and they're probably getting some questions and, you know, eventually just teetered off after me.
Yeah, what do you think it is about you you dropped out of high school? I'm trying to figure out, like, you had the audacity. You said you grew up poor, but there's plenty of poor kids who don't have this ability to just step up to some dinosaurs and say, I'm going to make you more money than you're making right now. Most people get laughed out of the door. Similar to what you're saying, some people might have been doing to Pudgy when you first purchased it.
I think it attributes to personality. Like some people are born with confidence and tenacity, and I just believe in myself. I think one thing that helped me really early on was we grew up really poor. But my dad was an ex-tennis pro. Not my biological dad, but I call him my dad because he raised me like one. And, you know, tennis is a really affluent sport. And so he would teach tennis to all the billionaires in the Hamptons, etc. And so in the summers, I'd go to the Hamptons and I would go and I would see all of these rich guys, like really rich. We're talking some of the richest people in the world, like tens of billions of dollars, right? And I think the one thing that I got that most poor kids didn't, if I were to attribute like anything, was the understanding and the duality of life, right? I majority of my life, it was like really poor, mom having nervous breakdowns, you know, doing the whole shenanigan that comes with just being like incredibly poor in America or anywhere in the world. And on the other side of it, there was like little pockets of like, I'd be in $100 million house where there's 9 people staffing the house. And I was like, oh, and I would sleep there and take care of some of their kids. And I was like, oh, this life is way better. I was like, I want this life. I was like, this is a good life, you know? And in that, like, there was like a real motivation. So like, I'd always have like this safe space in my head where it's like, dude, I need to be like David J. I need to be like some of these guys who are just absolutely just like peak living, you know? And that duality was the motivation. And so then I paired that with just like, dude, at the end of the day, like closed mouths don't get fed. Like if you want something, you got to go up and get it. Like being shy and timid was never a character type in my personality. So I was blessed, just like born with a personality that was like, dude, you know, I want something, I'm just going to communicate it. And the rest is history, but a lot of life experience. I'm a big believer that like you're a product of your environment and your life and your traumas and the things that good that have happened to you. And just all kind of blends into this melting pot that kind of makes you, you know?
What do you think in 2030 you want to have been right about? Maybe right now all these people are screaming at you.
It's not that bad. I get more love. Again, I get more love than the screaming. The problem is, it's just 20 people screaming.
It's louder to you.
Way louder. But it's not just me. It's like there's a famous saying where like, one angry customer is louder than 1,000 happy customers. You know what I mean? Like it's relevant to all of entrepreneurship. What do I want to be right about in 2030? I want to be right that this whole IP thing was the way that these things accrued value. Like, I know everyone has different theses, right? You know, Bored Ape has the club, smart thesis. Not gonna, like, if that ends up being the right, like the most thesis with the highest upside, like I wouldn't be surprised. Like, that's not a bad thesis. There's tons of different theses out there, but I'm just like convinced, bro, that the IP thesis is the way. Pokemon cards are at $100 billion market cap. They're just below, like, you know, NFTs market cap topped at what, 25 billion? So like, that's just one IP and one brand. Like, what's the market cap of all the collectibles of all the top IPs? Like hundreds of billions.
Right.
You know, like I'm just very convinced that this whole IP thing is like the right way to accrue value to holders long term. Problem is, this crypto is so fast, it's on 24/7 that even like no one wants to hear medium and long term. I try to balance that scale as best as I can. Like, how can I give people short term gratification while also building like the long-term sustainability of like the J curve? But in 2030, that would mean I've been in this for 8 years, which means the IP thesis should be in full force. Like, if there's not thousands of people buying the NFTs and hundreds of thousands of people coming from the brand buying the token, then the IP thesis and the funnel never worked. By 2030, you should know that.
You've been through 2 bear markets, or this is maybe the second.
I've been through a bunch before, but as a founder, this would be the second.
How does Pudgy continue to push through some times like this? How do you?
I think that is the harder one, because like I can stomach problems, but like recently I had an issue in my personal life that converged with the bear market, and it was really tough. Arguably one of the tougher moments. The business is bear market agnostic, which is great. Like, you know, or it's not relevant. Like, the bear market doesn't affect how many products we sell or how many deals we do.
Yeah. That was your background, being able to push. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do best. I knew the second we bought Pudgy, that's what we would do with it. I was like, dude, I see this. Pudgy Penguins, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cocomelon, Paw Patrol, Pudgy Penguins. I was like, I guess it makes sense to me.
Cocomelon.
You know what I mean? The Cocomelon, the bad one. We want to be Cocomelon, but like, you know, it fit into that category. I was like, yeah, this could be $1 billion thing easy.
I mean, the market's different now, obviously, but Pudgy is there. Like, people respect it. People think of it as the project that made it out. Can you point to what it was that was like, you know, we're here still?
Long story short, like, I think there's other projects that are still doing okay and still doing amazing work. Like the Bored Ape guys, Doodles guys are doing great work in AI. I'd be remiss if I didn't believe that, like, we were, you know, carving out our own lane and universe that I think is like the right way, and the way that I think is going to be the most long-term successful. But, you know, if I'm being frank and candid, like, one thing I've learned recently is like, me just winning in my silo is like not going to produce the best outcome for everybody. And I think a lot of people like underestimate how much effort and time I've actually put in producing the best outcome for everybody. Everybody meaning like community, team, like just everyone that's a part of not only this organization, but the space. Like, I think I totally get under indexed for like what we've done with, you know, at least from a perspective of integrity for the space, and like how we try to lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing like an NFT founders meetup tomorrow, and like the goal is like, how do we actually just like do this thing together, if that's even possible? But I appreciate you saying that, and like where this thing really needs to go is I need to go and give like Hello Kitty and Pokemon like the run for their money. I know it sounds like insane because Pokemon's so huge, and it's probably insane to say today, but I need to go and give the incumbents in Web 2 who are making the real money right? The billions of dollars annually. Like it's time, like my mindset has graduated from like, okay, how do I be the biggest and best like within crypto to like, I realize that that's like a zero sum game because you'll never win in crypto because not everyone will be bag aligned. And so no matter what I do, I can do the most highest integrity thing. I can airdrop $1.5 billion to people, which we did. I can go and I can shake hands and throw up after because I'm so sick because I just try to greet people and show them respect. Or I can go to Asia while like literally my dog, who is my baby, is like dying of brain cancer and I need to be there with her. And like I'll do all those things, but like if you don't have your bag, if you're not bag aligned with me, right? If you don't have a bag of Pengu or some NFTs and you got a bag of some other NFTs or some other tokens, like it's still fuck you. It's like the most fascinating thing. So I've really conceded to like not pursuing this path of like trying to get everyone to fall into like the obvious, which is like, dude, how can you not see that this thing like has the ingredients that it does? I'm now focused on like, how do I go beat Disney and Warner Bros. And the incumbents and try to bring this whole little category up with me rather than just trying to convince everybody that's here like the what I think is like glaringly obvious, you know? But I just have now learned that like, dude, it's tribalism. You know, it's not even sports teamism. It's like real innate like Darwinistic tribalism. And like, if you were just not aligned, you were not aligned, and that's fine. And I think that was like a learning lesson for me as of recently, which is like, dude, no matter how little I don't extract, no matter how much I give, no matter how much I try to do the things the right way, if you are not financially aligned, it's still, yeah, fuck you, my guy's better than you, right? You're still a piece of shit. You're still a sale. You're still this. You're still that. It's like delusional. There's like almost like, you know, Trump has TDS. There's like Luca derangement syndrome out there within some of the cohorts in this space that I just like, I'm over that. I can't last doing that, you know, because it's too insane. It's like 1 + 1 equal. I'm trying to convince somebody 1 + 1 = 2. And they're like, no, it's 11. No, it's 11, like consistently, because they're financially aligned to say that it's 11 versus like conceding that like, yeah, 1 + 1 = 2. It's pretty obvious. So now, dude, I'm just like really focused on like, okay, like there's no convincing the tribes, right? At the end of the day, like I understand a part of it. I really don't actually understand the full scope of it, but I understand a part of it. Let me just go try and uplift this whole thing in like one, you know, together with as many people as I can. And let's just roll up like NFTs as a category and memetics and crypto culture as a category. And like, let's leverage that category to go surpass Disney or Warner or something.
Well, so you understand this culture aspect, I think, better than most founders just based off of where you came from, right? And I think personally, this is the thing that is lacking the most is we cannot communicate with the greater world just because it might be the bag holding that's fucking everything up. But
I think the bag holder doesn't take accountability the way they should. That's one of the things I want to fix. Is like what I just explained to you is actually a very handicapping thought because 100 compliments mean nothing to me. I feel no dopamine when you're like, dude, you're a beast. I appreciate it. And I respect that you respect the grind and the hustle. And anybody who like sees it for what it is, I'm like, dude, I appreciate that. Right. But the one negative comment has me pacing around for 20 minutes. You know,
really,
oh, totally, bro. It's madness. And that might be a personal problem. Right. And as I get older, I'm starting to like realize like, dude, at the end of the day, like that's kind of the way the world works. And if there's some like annoying people along the way, bitching and moaning and just like saying things that they have like no business, you know, having opinions on, frankly, like then so be it. That's the nature of the world. And no matter what industry I go in, I'll deal with it. But it's amplified in crypto to the point of the question. Like the anonymous PFP culture is empowering. It's empowering because it empowers people to say things they would never say if you knew who they were, you know? And that creates a toxicity loop that is very unhealthy. And that's why you see the founder churn the way that you see it. The founder churn in crypto is unprecedented. Like no one lasts 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I want to be here 20 years. In crypto specifically, it's such an attention-driven economy that like you're either going to sign up for that and get attention and succeed and try to like move forward, or you're not going to sign up for that and like your probability of failure is exponentially higher.
What are the things that you're doing for yourself to just basically not crash out?
My guys, dude, my co-founding team, it's a brotherhood. Like, dude, I'm going to build a multi-billion-dollar business with my best friends. I love these guys. And like, anytime I feel that way, like I can call any one of them. And dude, if I didn't have that, I'd be cooked. I would have crashed out a long time ago. Rule number 1 in crypto as a founder, never crash out. Like that's rule number 1 before you get anywhere. Dudes really test you to crash out.
I mean, is Pudgy gonna solve this problem with like crypto culture, or is it?
I know how we solve it. We're gonna make a really big focus on women for the brand because I think the brand makes so much sense. Like we just need more women in the space. Like we just need more diversity. We need more love and like kindness and just like good vibes. Like we don't need a bunch of like angry dudes sitting at their computer. Like that's what I actually probably think it is. And like how we're going to solve that is we're going to bring a bunch of fucking cool people here and like we're going to grow the pie. We're going to bring millions of fans, both boys and girls. But like my mission, it's like a really, I can't believe I just saw it recently, but I'm like, dude, my mission now is to bring like 1 million girls into crypto.
Honestly, like you're right. Some dudes just need a hug.
Just need a hug. I swear 80% of these guys just need hugs. I know it. I can just feel it because you want to know something? I've been in a position where I've been that angry guy on X. That just mean, commenting everywhere. And really what I just needed was some love, bro. Just needed some love. I was going through some shit. I just needed some love. So I'm like, dude, I was going to bring the love to you guys. You can hate me all you want. You can say whatever you want. It's also fugazi. But like, I'm going to bring the love here, and like, once I bring the love, what are you going to say? Like, the vibes are going to be so good. And all these crypto dudes at their desk are going to have girlfriends. And it's going to be because of me. You're welcome.
Crypto runs on cycles. Most people who showed up in the last aren't here anymore. The ones who kept building through the crashes, the exit scams, the euphoric times. This series is about them, what they risked, and why they're still here. Sometimes conviction is all you have, and sometimes it's all you need.